Hey, what's up everybody? It's Travel 2 Stories podcast and audio video experience at the same time because we just want to kill two sparrows with one stone, right? Before I crack in, I just want to apologize for the American flag for all the non-American listeners. I think we have quite a few, hopefully. I just happened to shoot these videos, these podcasts from the American corners here in Shymkent, Kazakhstan, where I'm currently residing. And because of the acoustical features, because of the background, because of the place, and generally the people who are here more educated, more adaptive to these kind of activities than elsewhere, I happen to choose this place. Guys, this is the next episode, and today I'm going to talk about my first couple months in the Netherlands. Remember right, it took me quite a long time from the day I was born to the day I realized that I don't want to live in Hungary, and I'm so happy that you've been following my stories, how I got there, what took me and what it took actually to make it all the way to Netherlands. This is actually the first country where I'm not just like temporarily residing, but I moved there for good, for like sort of permanently. It turns out later on in my life, everything which is more than 3 months long, that's already a permanent situation for me. That means that I have multiple permanent situations in my life, multiple permanent people, multiple permanent connections, relationships, friendships, places, jobs, professions, educations, you name it. And Netherlands was a really crucial part in my life, not because of the friends not only because of friends I've acquired over the time over there, but also because of the experiences I have accumulated there. And I'm so grateful for all of this, simply because it happened at a certain age of my life where I was really vulnerable, really hungry for experience, and Netherlands offered me everything, literally everything, in order to boost my personal growth, boost my personal experience, be able to become the best me. Of course, further on, I do realize that I was not even close to the best me. Even now, I'm not even close to the best me, but nevertheless, it was a really amazing and very effective push to my life. As you remember, I heard about Netherlands, studying there middle December, and middle January I was already there, actually straight up ready to start my university studies. However, when I got there, I had to rely on my own financial backups. I had to rely on my own skills, on assets, generally speaking. And it's not because my parents were not supportive. They were completely behind my back. They were backing me emotionally and physically as much as they were able to, but they couldn't really do that financially. Some of my relatives could have helped me, but they just didn't really see the reason and the goodwill in me moving abroad. In fact, they just thought that it's just a stupid idea. Why you do that? You are better off here in Hungary, around us, where you have everything already like worked out, where you have everything already set up, ready to just seize it or seize them even better, right? Nevertheless, I made this decision partially because of the striving for experience, partially because of the hunger for just doing something different, getting out of my comfort zone, leaving the boredom which I had been facing in Hungary for a long time by the time I moved there. And also because, as you remember, I'm just a huge promoter of psychedelics, and I just learned it that cannabis is a psychedelic. So yes, that was one of the reasons actually, and this was the only reason why I got acquainted with those people who helped me to get to Netherlands, because they knew that I'm time to time happen to smoke here and then a joint, and it was all fun, it was all nice. Eventually I get to the Netherlands and I had to start with my own finances. There is a really nice saying I heard on the other day in a motivational speech. You want to take the island, you gotta burn your boat. It means that if you have nowhere to go, you're going to conquer the place where you are destined to live, to make a living. And that was so true over there. I was low on finances, I was low on time, but I was just filled with the desire of succeeding. I was just filled with the desire of not going back to Hungary, staying in the Netherlands. In the beginning, I was working 2 jobs at the same time and full-time studies. How I was able to do that, and plus recovering from the work while sleeping. Well, guys, it's really interesting because if you remember from the second American experience in Wisconsin as a lifeguard, I was talking about Couchsurfing, how I got acquainted with that, and until now I wasn't really active on it. I definitely hadn't been hosting anyone, but as I got there, I realized that okay, I cannot afford to go to a posh flat. I cannot afford to make a rental commitment through a third party because they're just going to milk me big time. So I had to go there, use Couchsurfing, which I did, and I'm so grateful. I ended up staying, I think, with 3 different folks, and one of the peeps was hosting me for 1 month. Guys, I was already having a rental agreement. I was already paying for a rent, but she was cooking for me. Her location was way better. She supported me with bicycle. She supported me every single information I needed. She came along all the time to translate, to go to the local market, to show me who's a good vendor, who's a rip-off seller, and all those stuffs. And I was just so damn grateful for her. And I told her that, look, actually I found a place already to get rented, but I really feel comfortable here. I really dig you. We are getting along fairly well. I like your mindset. You like mine, as I feel. What if I just keep on crashing for another couple weeks? And she said that, yeah, that's no problem, it's all good. And we were throwing these like potlucks, which are like these cooking events, and we were going out together. We were hanging out with her friends, her relatives, and all that. So it was really cool. She was way ahead of me than I am. I used to be. She was way more advanced, a couple of years older as well, but the amount of experience she had both on living as well, especially relationship-wise, it was just insane. And I learned so much from her. I could thank her so much. Iris, I hope you listen to this shit because it's all thanks to you. And actually, if you're not there, I'm not even sure if I can push it through, because the hosts I had were good. But you were just like beyond good. You were outstanding. You were extraordinary. All the others were ordinary, and then I'm grateful for them as well. But you were just on a whole lot different level, and I'm so grateful for you. Thank you, Iris. One Done Broke. That's her name, the full name. If I'm not mistaken. But back a little bit. I had one host. Actually, she was a painter. She did some art paintings and art photo of herself. She showed some naked pictures of herself. I was like, yeah, that's cool, but you're too mild and too ugly. Anyways, the other one was a real hippie. She was smoking here and there. She was going to parties with her dreadlocks and this hippie-looking person, like anarchist and fuck the system and all this stuff. I really enjoyed her company as well, but there were no heating in the flat. There were not much insulation on the windows, so it wasn't really my comfort level back in the days. And since I was focusing on school at the same time, I really needed some quality escape places where I could just like get withdrawn from society and from the noises, from discomfort, so I could focus on my studies. And I had another one actually, and he's from Curacao, a big fat guy, really cool dude, and he's a naturalist. I had no fucking clue what his naturalist is, but he wrote it on the profile, but like, check it out, go and just make sure that you're cool with me being a naturalist, because otherwise I don't want you to leave a negative reference whatsoever. And I checked it out, and it turns out that this guy is walking naked during the night, that he sleeps naked and he feels naked. I couldn't really figure out whether he's gay or not, but at that point, I knew that I'm not gay, straight up. And I was also sure that I need a place to crash, because that was way before, not way before, but it was the host before I met Iris. So, and I had like 5 days gap, and during this 5 days gap I had to figure out something. I already used the other two Couchsurfers hospitality, so I had to fuck off from those places, but Iris was still not due for another 5 days, so this was the sort of like backup plan. And I went there, and I brought at this topic like super shy and like awkward, that hey, what about this naturalist thing, that is it like real, or are you like really walking naked with like a hard bone in the flat? And yeah, this is what I do, and if you don't like, you are free to fuck off and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I'll gotta get used to it. It's all about experience, I suppose, and Couchsurfing brings new people, blah blah blah. You know the drill, don't you? If you've been following me on Instagram, on Facebook, TeePolgar, where I do post every single day like little haikus burnt onto my pictures, I have been taking since I've been traveling 10 years. And also Instagram account TeePolgar, where I give like daily pictures, what's up, how am I spending my everyday life in Kazakhstan, Shymkent, with like real background stories, so you get to know me more. So, and on YouTube actually, guys, the reason you should subscribe, because where I give you all the knowledge how you can unlock traveling for free. Also, I talk about whether you should take cash and card, whether you should keep on pushing to one direction, whether you should hitchhike, couchsurf. You'll find your answers for all the questions. Speaking of questions, guys, don't forget to leave your comments and questions wherever you are able to reach me, because I'm throwing these like Q&A sessions here and then, where I'm happily answering your personalized questions about traveling. So I don't want to be the person to be blamed why you are not able to travel for free. In fact, I want to be the key for you, because you and me are the future. We're going to take this society to a different direction. But back to Netherlands, guys. I want to say to you that with this naturalist guy, we really get along well. Not because he flashed his cock, right? But because he was really honest. And, you know, the more swear words you have in your speech, the more, in this case, naked you more confident about yourself you are, then the more honest you tend to be. Of course, back in the days, all I could think is just, fuck, I really hope he's not gay. Oh, damn, I really hope he's not going to flash his flash in the middle of the night. And I'm still not sure whether he's bi or hetero, but I'm not the one to decide. I didn't have any issues with this situation, so all went fine. And at this moment, I was already running low on cash. I was running low on cash so much that I was making bolognese with the cheapest, the dirtiest, rubbish noodles, using the cheapest bloody cheese. I wouldn't really call that cheese. Tomato sauce, and not mincemeat, but actually salami. I like it as salami, this pile of salami, and chopped into small pieces, and that was the meat part. Well, thinking back, all I can see is the persistence, the motivation, and the fire I had in order to stay there, to make a living, to make a stand over there. Anyways, this is how I went the last 5 days over there. This bolognese, I ate this 3 times a day. In the morning, I chucked some eggs because I was playing the Porsche, and I needed some protein, right, to push it through. And then Iris came along, and we get really well along. She was living in the city center. I think she still does. And her flatmates were her sister, her brother, interior designer, really awesome dude. Her brother's friend Mikael, he's like a star chef also over there. I think he's already working for like a Michelin star restaurant. Big respect for him. The way he cooks is just insane. And these 3 folks, guys, they helped me with my English so much. so much. Guys, I gotta tell you about Netherlands that even the last hobo, the last plumber speaks better English than most of the people in my own country. It's just insane how fluent those people are. And the reason is because they don't change the audio for the movies. Everything goes in English and the original language, and they just sub them, which is really convenient for non-native speakers, for non-Dutch speakers. But of course it's struggleful in the beginning, but nevertheless, in spite of the cartoons, everything goes in English. This is just so crazy good idea. It saves money. Of course, there will be no companies ripping the national bank off by requesting this auditing money or whatsoever. And it just boosts the opportunity to learn English. You are exposed to English the moment you turn on your TV, right? Well, I would ask first place, why the hell would you turn on TV when you can do something real good with your free time? Anyways, we're not talking about that one. For that, again, check out the YouTube channel on the video, what you do with your free time. I just recently released that, where I argue, checking Instagram, where I argue just watching funny dogs and funny cats on YouTube and stuff like that. And Iris and her rental flatmates were just outstanding. They reached out for me. They didn't judge me. They didn't put me in any stereotyping. They didn't push me away. They accepted me as a friend, and at some point even as a family member. I truly believe, and I was just so damn fucking grateful for that. They helped me so much that I can't just even thank them enough. Guys, I went to this rental place to find out what's up with the house, because I realized that in order to get registered, to get a job, I need to be registered. I need to have like a legal contract that I live somewhere, and Couchsurfing is not the most appropriate and the most legit solution way to go, especially not in Western Europe, right? So she helped me with the translation. She helped me to find this place, to check out the room, to get a good idea of what's up, why is it so cheap, why is it fucked up, and actually I was renting this place for, I think, like throughout the whole time for 3 damn years. 3 damn years. Edge of the city, literally the last street of the city, but it was good. Like, super accessible. The buses go there. There is a massive supermarket close to there, so I could do the groceries like in 5 minutes walking distance. And I was just renting like a shithole. I really like shithole. It was like 7 square meters. Place for a mattress. The mattress, I took it from a junk clearance where people throw their old stuffs away, and also I took from the junk clearance days like a damn desk, the one I'm hanging my hands on now. And also I took some cupboards, everything, even like a chair. The chair was, so it was completely empty, right? Carpet I took from the junk clearance. I know, I just enjoyed being this hobo, being this like low budget straight up. And what, I didn't do it for fun. It wasn't for fun, it was a necessity. It was a must in order to stay there, because I needed to sleep on something, but I didn't have any bed. I needed to sit on something to study, but I didn't have anything to sit on. I needed to put my computer on something, but I didn't have anything to put my computer on. And so on and so on. And everything in the room, I made it from junk clearance. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I saw that, okay, I'm moving ahead. I'm able to stick around. I'm able to hang on for another week, another 2 weeks. And eventually I get the contract. I was still living with Iris and in her flat. But I already got registered. I already get my tax number, and I already get my first job. First job I took was actually delivering newspapers. So I had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, start at 4 o'clock, was riding my bike from 4 till 6, delivering newspapers in 2 different areas, and go home, take a shower, have a breakfast, and by 8:30 get to school, start the school and push it through. After 2 weeks, actually, I got my first salary, and that first salary was, I think, like 250 euros. And that 250 euros enabled me to get through the threshold. What I mean by this, guys, when I get my first payslip, transfer money, salary, I had 23 euros on my bank account. I'm going to remember for that goddamn number. Because this is all I had left before I was going broke, before I had to face the decision that, all right, this is the time where I have to fuck off back to Hungary because I'm out of money. I cannot buy food, I cannot buy nothing. So I did that, and back in the days it was only the school time, as like you said, so I paid the first month of tuition fee. There was not much going back other than going back to Hungary, right? So I had to shoot straight forward. It was really, really difficult and struggle for in the beginning to make it all the way to the school, to make it all the way to the level where I was able to sustain myself. Like I said, I got like 20, 25 euros on my bank account the moment when I received my first payslip. And it was really like a mental challenge, because when you see that there is no other asset left, there is no backup and there is no plan B, you only have one, then you realize actually that you have no luxury of focusing on other things. You must be single-minded, you gotta focus on the path, you gotta see the end of the tunnel. And that actually gives you the extra energy, the power that you usually don't have, the adrenaline level, which will put you to the places where you wouldn't be able to go in any other cases, right? So I really enjoyed that one. And eventually I get really addicted to this, like getting the payslip, having enough money, because, yeah, as you know, and I gotta emphasize again, it's one of the reasons I got to Netherlands is not because of education, not because of prosperity, not because of eating croquettes and french fries all the time, but it was just to go easy, to smoke the weed. And I get to the point when I stabilized myself financially, and it was just so cool that actually I was able to buy the joint whenever I wanted. I smoked that shit, and I was just like, just chilling my time away. Back in the days, it didn't seem bad. In fact, it seemed to be cool, awesome, and just like chilling, you know what I mean? And there were cases when I just told my boss that, hey, I got an exam tomorrow, gotta prepare for, can you give me some slack? And I could shoot off earlier, an hour or two. In reality, I went home and they just like lighted up and spoke my time away. And it was cool. I enjoyed it, like just watching movies, sleeping long hours, taking it easy, joking with my friends, my flatmate, just dicking around here and then, watching like funny shit on the YouTube. I really enjoyed that one. And I think it took me half a year. In fact, I had to come back from my next travel experience, which I'm going to talk about next episode, by the way. One episode, one story, so it was quite obvious that that's going to happen. But in the first half of a year, since January till June, I was just working hard to cash up. I was just working hard to stabilize my financial streams, to get a solid account with a really decent amount of money. Well, proportionally and regarding to my standards, right? So I'm not a Warren Buffett. I've never been, and probably never will be, but I don't really see the reason of being so. And in the Netherlands, it was really easy to make good money. I mean, you had the mindset from Hungary, which is safe here and then, around the clock, just look for the cheaper price, don't buy shit you don't need, and combined with traveling, combined with the opportunities I got overseas in the Netherlands, I was really able to save shit loads. Let's say I think I made like with the study scholarship, because I received like social benefits. My parents' annual revenue didn't exceed a certain amount. I don't know how much was that. It doesn't really matter at this stage. And so I could get money from the government. I was also able to work. I was also able to travel for cheaper because I'm a student, right? Like social background or whatever. And so I think I had in the beginning, I would say like 800, maybe 1100 euros a month as an income. And I was able to save up, let's say, like 700 rather quickly, rather easy. Of course, I sent some back to relatives. I saved up for other purposes. I purchased some lands back in Hungary. So let's say in half a year I was able to save up to, let's say, 2, maybe 3,000 euros. Right next to the flight tickets. I purchased over the course of I think 2 months, from starting April till end of May, beginning June. But again, this is another episode, another story. Yes, and eventually I get to the point when I realize that whoa, gotta slow down, gotta slow down. You're focusing on money too much. You're working too much. You're working long hours. You're dropping school. You're skipping the classes, and it's not the way it's supposed to. It's not the way I should do it. In fact, I get to the point when I chose to sleep instead of going to school, because I was working from early in the morning, as I told you, until late at night. And instead of focusing on sleeping at night, I was focusing on sleeping in the afternoon, smoking after the newspaper delivery job. So from 8 till 10, I was just like knocking myself out basically for a massive portion of breakfast. I slept a couple hours, and then I went to the factory, and I skipped school. I think for almost a month I didn't really go to school, and I had started my school a couple of months before, so I really had to put my mind straight, and there was no one to slap me in the face, so I had to do it by myself, and that was difficult. Self-realization is rather difficult. If there's no one, no girlfriend, no friends, no relatives to tell you, hey, you're fucking up, hey, you're taking the wrong turn here, you're heading to the wrong direction. And without those people, actually, it's really, really difficult to realize that you're heading straight down to the pit, and you will end up in a pitfall as a casualty. But eventually, after a month, I made a decision. I came to the point when I realized that, hey, if it's going that way, you're gonna be a dropout rather quickly. You're not even going to finish for a semester, because you will be missing so many classes that you will get the fail automatically, without question, without opportunities to take the exams. So first, I actually changed the afternoon job to a better one, a better pay, and more flexible schedule. So I was able to choose the hours I wanted to work. I was able to choose the schedule, and how I got there, actually, it's funny because, like I told you before, I was working for Samsung warehouse, and when I realized that I'm working too many hours, then I told them, hey, I need less hours. Hey, I gotta slow down with work. And they're like, hey, you have a job, you got responsibilities, you gotta focus, you better be here on time, you better stop complaining. And I was like, guys, please understand something. I'm not an East European in the sense that I'm not here to just like drink and waste it, send 90% of the money back to my homeland and just work my butt off. In fact, I'm here to study. Well, of course, I did mention that the green part, to them, it's none of their business, eh? And that was like a sense of hypocrisy in my speech, but nevertheless, we both realized that I'm not suitable for them and they're not suitable for me, so I quit that job. But of course, I quit only after I got the confirmation that I'm able to work to the factory, which is just across the road where this industrial land use, this industrial area is placed. I was working for something like Tesco, if you know what it means, like for the main warehouse distribution center. I was like taking care of the recycling department, recycling the crates, recycling the beer bottles, and recycling the plastic bottles. It was pretty laid back and no cool, no hot. We could listen to music because it was just like sort of recycling part, not so important. You didn't have to listen to any cons speaking you that, hey, you gotta pick this product, that product. So it was much better than the one before at Samsung. And also I realized that, hey, I have enough hours here. I'm not making as much as if I would have like 3 jobs or 2 jobs, but this is just enough to get by, more than enough, to be honest. Able to have a good night's sleep after this work, so I eventually decided to draw newspaper delivery as well. And this was the first time in my life when I realized that whenever you quit a job, it gives you energy. It gives you like inhuman amount of power, like mentally, that hey, you're not good enough. I'm not willing to commit here. I'm not willing to get my hands cuffed here. I don't want to just like kill my life here. And so this liberated me, and I already have this smile because it's just amazing. Like, I love this. I just love this. So it's really, really cool. And this was the Netherlands was the first country place where I realized that quitting is working on your dreams instead of working on others' dreams, like working for someone else, in other words. So that liberates your mind. And so I strongly encourage you guys to do this. Just take a fatal leap. And I understand that not so many of you are watching these episodes. I understand that not so many of you are committing and being engaged with these contents. It's okay. Time will come. Time will come when you guys will share this, when you guys will understand this, when you guys will realize that, hey, I'm not here to take your quick bucket. I'm here to give you the power that was only given me by naturally. No one else was standing behind me and pushed me. At least not in the Netherlands, at least not in India, at least not in the first couple of years. I had to do it by myself, and I learned it the hard way. Right? I got into trouble so many times that would have never happened if there is someone holding my hands or having being the control over my shoulders. And it was what it was. And I'm grateful for those moments. I'm grateful for those teachings, and I'm grateful for the newspaper delivery. I'm grateful for subscribers, because without those, I have difficulties experiencing quitting. How to say, like, fuck off to my boss. I'll get the hell out of here. I'm not working for you, and we are freelancers here. You either respect me or I'm under oath. And most of the cases, temporary, they said that, okay, sorry, blah, blah, blah. But eventually I had to quit because we just couldn't agree on it. Of course, there is a side effect of this. When you are quitting so often, when you are able to handle that someone fires you, for example, because you are not on time, you are not dressing up, you're not wearing the time shit, then you evolve to the point where you develop a certain unnatural ego and unnatural level of arrogance. And I'm not so much about the ego. I'm not really happy about it, that I have like more than I should, more than I need. But I'm so happy about the arrogance I get. It pushes me way more than anybody and anything else. It allows me to quit like this. It allows me to make a decision like this, and it allows me to purchase the flight ticket like this, because I know my arrogance will help me to get by. My arrogance will help me to get ahead, to move forward in life towards my dreams. So yeah, Netherlands helped me in a number of ways. It helped me to free my mind. It helped me to realize that just because drugs are illegal or legal, it's not necessarily the answer for everything. It's not necessarily the answer for chill, answer for joy. Again, I'm grateful for those times as well. Don't get me wrong. I love to smoke. Right now, I don't do this because it doesn't give me the answers. It doesn't give me the power I need. But I'm grateful for those lessons I got through those high moments. I'm grateful for the creativity I got because of those high moments. And also, Netherlands helped me to realize that I must focus on sports. I must focus on staying healthy. Netherlands seems to be a really developed, like economically, but socially it's just like far behind like most of the countries. Of course, I know heaps people I would die for. I love those folks. But most of the people are just like distracted by money, distracted by iPhone, distracted by BMW and so on, and that's okay. And when it's not for me, and I don't think that on the long run it's going to pay out well for them either. Nevertheless, I really enjoyed this first half a year over there, because this allowed me to understand that if you work hard, you will be appreciated, you will get your money, you will get your reward, whatever it is. And if you're focused, if you surround yourself with the right people, then you're able to move forward with a light speed. And like I said, I had to learn through the hard way, but eventually I got to the point where I was able to select and handpick the people I needed in my life. And Netherlands is full of those people, especially at the university. There you can find the people who boost your creativity, boost your physical enduring some physical needs and mental needs as well. Guys, stay tuned, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that. It's TeePolgar. If you haven't subscribed for my Instagram channel, do that. It's TeePolgar. And if you haven't checked my Facebook page, guess what? Do that. That's TeePolgar. So guys, stay tuned and follow my other platforms, because this is just like the summary of what's going on in my life. This is just a summary of what's up with the past. But on those platforms, actually, I'm sharing what's up right here, right now. Remember the time I was just saying you, the next episode is going to be summer 2011. That's 7 years back from now. So if you want to cut that 7 years, you want to know what's going on back in 2011 and what's going on now, 2018, then these are the platforms you're going to stick to. These are the platforms you're going to keep an eye on. And you, with me, you remember, we are shaping society. Bye.